My position is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. Now, of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book is not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done or that we do daily that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're gonna take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard of. You know them women that had men if they got a bunch of children. They need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. We talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home. We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars. He is not doing these things alone and without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down instead of building it up. Having an education and a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black female emotionalism. They're doubtful, they're indecisive, they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge. We have daughters who grew up in a home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there. They go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man, because they haven't seen it. Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television. It's the only medium that shows us anybody being together. Those rules have not worked for us. The white woman's liberation movement, we don't have anything to do with that. We have not been under the control of the black man for over 500 years, so what do we have to get liberated from them from? They haven't been our boss. That's the white woman and her man. They're going through that, and that's their business. We don't have any business being in that. They only introduced it to break down the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement started with the black man, the black woman, and the black child standing together, trying to plead for freedom, justice, and equality, and more benefits in the country that they had built. They threw the white woman in there with the women's liberation movement and made it a woman against man thing. That created a big separation between black men and black women, because then everybody started going for self. Then they bring the welfare system in and tell us in order to feed and clothe and house our children, we have to give up our man. You have to put the man out of the house. When the white farm wife goes to the government for subsidy for the farm, they don't tell her to get rid of the farmer, they keep that family together. But in the black community, they make it a requirement, because they want to keep endorsing into the black community that the black man is no good, and that he is not deserving of respect, he is not deserving of us letting him give us any protection or instruction, and that we are better than them. The major responsibility that the black woman has had on the earth for the trillions of years that we have been here has been one of nutrition and birthing children. Those two things have a great deal to do with the survival of any people, the reproduction of the nation, and feeding them the proper food so that they can live. Those are very important jobs. Those are very powerful positions, because it puts us in a position to decide who's going to live or die, and how slow they're going to die by what we feed them. We have a very powerful position. That's not a small role that we play. We have just been taught to misrepresent and misuse that power. The people who we have been counting on to give us the truth about how to get along have failed. The white people don't know how to get along. They don't have that information themselves. They don't get along with nobody on earth. So they didn't have no information to impart to us about how we're supposed to get along. They changed their relationship rules at will. We have, tons of black children around this country that I hear from who have grown up traumatized by the fact that they were referred to as the outside child. When we were having children like that, they called it illegitimate children, until the white woman started having them, and now it's single parenting. See, they changed the rules according to what they're doing. So I've called on our people to change them depending on what we want to do, what our needs are. There's another need that has not been addressed in our community, because nobody will deal with it, and that's one that God did not create three sexes. We only have men and women. Now, I have not said that we should reject the sisters who try and act like men and the men who try and act like women. I'm not saying to reject them from among us, but they need to be taught. We don't have to accept that as some kind of normalcy, because that's not normal. I'm trying to demonstrate how they have set rules that they have forced us to follow that they don't even follow themselves. They change the rules to suit them when they get ready. We can change them to suit us when we get ready, especially if we have what we have now, which is a failing system. It hasn't worked for us. We don't have to be ashamed that it hasn't worked for us. But we do have to be ashamed of the fact that we keep plodding behind it and not trying to make the corrections that will help our people to survive.
He wants to keep us in this condition. He wants to keep us separated from our man, because he knows that the only door, the only route he has to destroy our black man is through the black woman. Doesn't matter what the woman's educational background is. In fact, we have proven that the more education we get, the more ignorant we get in front of our man.
represent the missing link as black women. The black man has been dissected, examined, the white man, the white woman, and the black child. But it has been us as black women who have never been examined. We have been protected, we have been insulated, we have been kept from any kind of criticism about our personal behavior in the home and outside of the home, and we have been given the false compliment that we are the backbone of the black nation. There is no doubt in any community in this country that the men in those communities are the backbone of their nations. There is no doubt in the white community that the white man is the backbone of his nation. The European, the Buddhist, the Korean, the Japanese, the Hispanic, all of those men are the backbones of their community, and there's no doubt about it. It is only in the black community where those values have been transposed and where they put that burden on us and tell us that we are the backbone of the black community, which is a direct insult to the black man and implies that he don't have no backbone and that his women have to represent him. I remind people all the time that God did not make the white man, the white woman, the black woman, and then the black man. He made the black man first, and he created all of the rest of the people after him. In 1985, I was going about the country trying to still work to teach our people something, trying to get them to stop eating pork. And at that time, I was having what I call get off those hog lectures. And I would take the microscope out, and I would show black people how even if you cook pork, you couldn't kill the worm. I would show them that the worm was still alive in the meat after heat, because that's what they told us, that you could cook it and kill the worm. And so I would show them what it did to the brain and the spinal column. And so there were many black men who wanted to stop eating pork. They wanted to change their diets, and they were in agreement. But it was the black woman who I found who was the most adamant, who refused to change her cooking habits, who didn't want to shop differently, who didn't want to do any different meal planning. And so I say, well now, if we are refusing to provide the black man with the proper physical food when we know food is what sustains life, then what else are
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight, I want to talk about black African American sisters, why some black men don't want you anymore. And I have to make it very clear that I'm not speaking about all black women, because a lot of black women, you read this title and you all get offensive. And then I find when I talk about these type of topics or write about them, the black women that I say that some of you have bad manners and this is why black men don't want to marry you, or why black men, especially here in the Muslim community, African American Muslim community, are going outside the race to get married. And a lot of you sisters start getting mad and you show your true colors with the bad behaviors, the cursing, the profanity, and the ignorance that come from some of the sisters. And listen to the word I said, some, not all of you. And then I find that some of you who are commenting with these bad manners, you're already married. So why would you care about what another man do or who another man marries if you're already married? That's one thing I don't understand. You sisters are quick to get offensive, but the ones who are commenting when I make these type of comments or posts, half of you are already married. So why you care? Why you care? You're already married. Why are you arguing with me as a married woman online? That's the first thing I have to say to you sisters. Now, in this particular video, I'm not knocking black women. I'm not saying all of you have this issue. Listen to these words very clearly, because a lot of women have selective hearing. They hear what they want to hear instead of hearing what is actually being said. That's why a lot of you have marital problems, because you're not listening. And I could even go further. Why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the woman is deficient in her deen. And somebody asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, limada? He said, can the woman pray while she's menstruating? And he said, is two women witness equal as one man? Meaning that one witness from a woman is not sufficient. According to the Islamic law, it's two women. Because the women sometimes don't hear and see what's actually there. And a lot of sisters, when you respond to me, I see this in your responses and your comments. So I'm not talking about all of you. I'm talking specifically African American women in America from the Muslim community. And I'm not speaking about all of you. You're already married. I don't know why you're listening to me or getting upset with me about these things. So I'm talking tonight about some of my posts on Facebook. And I already made videos about why black men shouldn't be arguing about black women. First, I said it's because it's used as a weapon against us. And yes, some of you sisters have left great comments, very offended. Your mother is black. Yes, alhamdulillah. Chinese don't talk about their women like this in public. Yes, that is true. But when I look deep into the situation in America, because Chinese women definitely are not like African American women when it comes to treating their husband. They are not the same. Outside openly, they're not the same. Inside, oh yeah, Chinese women argue with their men over money and stuff like that. Trust me. Trust me, I traveled. But outwardly, no, they're not bringing these debates out there. So for some points, with other videos I have made, yes, I agree. No, black men should be arguing and stuff with black women. But the way your sisters behave outside, way your sisters, some of y'all behave online, it is, you can see why the black community is messed up. First, community starts with family. Community starts with husband and wife. Community starts with husband and wife. Many scholars have said, Muslim scholars and non-Muslim scholars, if I educate a man, I educate that person. If I educate a woman, I educate a whole nation. Because women are the first teachers of every child. And in Islam, marriage or raising children or having children starts with the type of spouse you marry, an ikhtiyar. Who you choose to marry, the type of women you choose to marry. And tarbiyya al-atfal, raising children in Islam, start with the type of person you decide to marry. Tarbiyya doesn't start with after you have the baby or after you get married. It starts with who you choose to marry. Al-ikhtiyar. And if I was going to look at the situation from an Islamic perspective in the African American culture, and specifically the African American Muslim community, a lot of the African American sisters, you're not the type of woman to have children with. I didn't say all of you. So you have to be fair with me, like I be fair with you sisters. You have to be fair with me, like I'm fair with you. If you look at any of my Facebook posts, what I write about on Facebook, I write about black issues, I write about black struggles, I write about social issues, and I defend black women. I defend you. I force myself to defend you, even though I haven't been married to a black American sister for over 20 years. I'll be very blunt. I haven't been married to an African American sister for 20 years, even though I married sisters off to black brothers. As I argue on Facebook with our companion, Abu Ukasha, all the time, who talk bad about black women, telling me he's wrong. I tell him all the time, you think that the other race or marrying outside the race mean that it's going to be greener on the other side? No, it's not, because I've been married to non-black American women before. But I can say in their defense, I've been married to Egyptian women. Egyptian women, some of them have the same bad manners as black American women. Egypt, divorce is on a high rate in Egypt. On a high rate, and Egyptian people are divorcing over the same thing black Americans in America are divorcing over: finances. Egyptian men, some of them are tired of Egyptian women behavior. People are going to say, but Arabs don't talk bad about their women. You didn't live, I live in Egypt before. I live with Arabs. Some Egyptians, women, there are no other Arab women like them. I go to Yemen, the Yemeni women, they don't complain about their husband. Matter of fact, Yemeni women, because I was the imam before, and the people who ran the community were from Yemen. The Yemeni women, when I used to talk with them, I asked them all the time, the Yemeni sisters, because them sisters, mashallah, have very good manners. I'm like, I haven't seen you in the masjid for a while with the kids. In the sister classes or the women classes, and Yemeni women, Yemeni men, very protective over their women, very protective over their women. You know what the Yemeni sisters tell me? All of them, because half of them be all related anyway. They be all related or in-laws. You know what they tell me? We love staying in our houses. Caesar, I hear that. Caesar. We love staying in our house, raising our children. When I heard her say, we love staying in our houses, I'm about to pass out. We don't have that in African American community. Even in the Egyptian community, the men don't have that luxury with their women, except for a few. So when we talk about Facebook, and I'm talking about marriage issues, and I'm talking about this, I'm going to be very honest. I do protect you sisters. But some of you, it's hard to defend you. It's very hard. And this doesn't mean that every black African American woman I'm talking about. Oh, I'm not. I have a lot of good brothers on Facebook that I have met who are black and have black children, have black daughters, have black wives, and these brothers and sisters are doing good. Everybody have their marital issues. Everybody. But I have black couples that I know they're doing good. Alhamdulillah. And everybody, no one has perfect. I tell that to brothers, especially they say marry outside. I say everybody has some issues, no matter who you marry. I'm gonna be very clear when it comes to women before I get into my discussion. Bain al-mar'a, or between a woman, or we say al-mar'a either hiya saliha or taliha. Al-mar'a, the woman, she is either Salihah or Talihah. Either she's righteous woman, or wretched. Every society, every nationality, you have those two type of women. I don't care what society you go to. The Salihah, she's righteous, or the Talihah, she's wretched. Any society. So let's make that clear. But when I now look into the African American culture, and I give black African American women or Muslim women excuses, I give you excuses. Like I give the brothers excuses. We haven't had Islam with us for centuries. I give you the excuse. You right? The Muslim women in the Muslim country from birth, been taught Islami tarbiyya or tarbiyya Islamiyya, right? From the cradle. The Muslim woman in the Muslim country, she's taught a tarbiyya Islamiyya. She's cultivated in Islam from childhood, from her household, from her mother, in the house, in the school, in the culture, in the government. The woman is protected and she is taught this. It's part of her identity, the Islamic etiquettes. It's part of the woman identity. And is what preserves the woman. So, for example, the hijab is part of the woman identity. But hijab is also an etiquette. The sisters on Facebook from Philly, you have a profile picture in hijab and niqab. Then your storyline on Facebook come up, you're naked. You're naked. You wearing tights. You got makeup on. Your hair is out. And some of you in the club, but you want to make sure you have a profile picture with you in hijab. But when your story pop up on Facebook, which is public for everybody to see it, you're half naked in the streets or in the club or partying somewhere. Or you wearing a headscarf, wearing tights, and you're doing the latest TikTok dance and shaking your behind with your daughter on Facebook, and you're in hijab, tweaking on Facebook and with your daughter who is Muslimah Sagira, you're giving her a tarbiyya al-shaitan. You're giving your little daughter the corrupted tarbiyya. But you want to argue with me on Facebook? Everybody see this of you. Everybody see these posts. And then you're not even smart enough to make your videos private. The reason why you don't make those videos private, because you have no shame. So before you start attacking me, You sisters need to get yourselves together. A lot of us brothers, we're tired of it. I protect you, I defend you, because that's called being on cold. But right now I'm talking to you women. Somebody left a message and told me, but white people don't do this. Man, go look on YouTube and look and just put on YouTube modern day women. You'll see how many white Caucasian men talking about how the modern day woman in America behave. Somebody said white people don't do this. What are you talking about? Where do prenup come from? Who invented the prenup? Ain't no black people in America invented prenup. The white man in the legal system invented the prenup because the behavior of the white woman. And him making the prenup is showing you or him boycotting or showing his disapproval of white women. So don't talk about, oh man, white people don't do this about white women. Or the white man, he's definitely complaining about white women. Where do you think prenup come from? The only difference between the black man and the white woman, the black man and the white man, is that the white man has the legal power to put his woman in check. Most men don't have that power. Most black men don't have that power. Some white men from a legal status or particular status have that power. That's why the Republicans overturned Roe versus Wade. That's the white man showing his disapproval of white women and putting her in check. And putting her in check by overturning Roe versus Wade. Black men, we don't got that power in this country. We don't even have say-so about our own kids. Especially when divorce or family court or divorce court is involved. We just got to pay child support and shut the hell up. Black women. So I want to talk a discussion between me and another associate, a sister, a black sister, older sister, not my age, older sister, who followed me on Facebook. And she read most of my posts about black women. And you know what she told me? She agreed with me. I'm going to read her post. I'm going to read her comments, or I'm going to read her message to me, right? So I told her, I share a post with her that some sisters, the black African American sisters, don't like. I said, I love black African American women, but you're not my preference due to some of your bad thinking and feminist agenda. Rather yet, it's dangerous for the black family survival. And I edited and put in parentheses, I don't mean this literally, right? A lot of black sisters went off on me when I made this comment. Oh, you this Negro, or you that, and you that, or you crazy, you need to take your medication. Okay, so I'm going to read what a sister told me after reading this. I'm going to leave her name because I don't want y'all attacking her. And this is an older black sister. She said, African American women are a handful and come with some issues, black, white, and otherwise, which means she's talking about Western women. American society is wide open, meaning it's jacked up. She said, men who bringing their wives here, meaning from outside, from other nations, often go through some growing pains in the marriage and wind up divorce. She said, black women have to be very much in touch with our culture and our feminine side to make a good marriage here in North America. It's a black woman saying this, not me. Historically, culturally, African, black American women have never been feminist. This is not me. I'm reading what a black sister sent me in the message. She said the feminist movement, which jacked up the black woman in the black family, the feminist movement was a thing for undercover gay white women. She said all of the white women at the forefront of the feminist movement were gay women. Many of them had husbands. Even the President FDR's wife, Eleanor, was fronting and was gay undercover. The true issue black women in America face have yet to be addressed by the government. Daniel Moynihan tried to address it in 1965 with the Moynihan Report, but it was kicked to the curb. It's a black woman saying this, not me. It's not Abu Bakr, it's a black woman. She said black men need more opportunities in education and employment. The black middle class needs to grow. and black women need husbands. All right? And I told her, yes. Man, I love this comment. This is a black woman. This is a black woman sent me this. A black woman, American woman, sent me this message. I didn't make this message up. You could tell by the grammar. She said, the black family in America is under siege. They are beginning to try to come around. Muslim women already should know what time it is. It's a sister talking. It's a black African-American sister talking. This ain't me talking. Said, Muslim women already should know what time it is if they are following Quran and Sunnah. But a lot of women don't do their own research and don't do any self-examination and face the facts of their lives. If a woman is over 25, it's not Abu Barad's statement. If a woman is over 25 and still walking around talking about men ain't shit, she really needs to check her lifestyle and figure out why she is getting with and attracting ain't shit men. That's not me as a black woman telling me this. At 25, you should be a bit more mature and developed and in tune with self. Then a woman having a bunch of kids is not attractive to a single childless man. This is a black African-American woman telling me this. This ain't me making this up. Right? So if you have a bunch of kids, it is best to do your best to stay with their fathers. Unless, of course, you find divorced men who have a bunch of kids. But that is unlikely cause he is too busy working to take care of his children. It is rough out here for a single woman with a bunch of children. Personally, I didn't want children. And then she talked about her personal life, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want to give it up who she is. That's a black woman sent me this message. I'm reading the message of a black woman who read what I wrote on Facebook. But you other sisters, you seem not to be able to get the point. And then you'll wonder why you're still single. And I'm going to be blunt. My preference is black women. But because of your behavior in this country, feminist ways, I don't need a man. I could do for myself. All I want for you is to pay my bills. I got better options overseas. And I still got to pay. No matter who I get with, I still got to pay. But at least the woman overseas is submissive, even if she got to fake it. You sisters don't even fake it, most of you. And I'm not talking about every black woman. That already should be clear from my Facebook and my YouTube channel. I'm not talking about every black woman. I defend you guys because it's called being on code. I make excuses for you because it's called being on code. I want good for you because it's about being Muslim. I make excuses for you. No one see me argue all the time with our brother Abu Kasha on Facebook. Abu Kasha be acting up about black women. And the reason why I'm not harsh with Abu Kasha, because it could be 2 or 3 reasons why he's behaving this way. There's 2 or 3 reasons why he's behaving this way. Either or he's been burned out by his sister and it's mentally bothering him. Or he's like thinking, yo, I really need to get married, but I got to spend thousands of dollars and travel to another country just to find a woman. Why I can't find a decent, loving woman from my own culture? Why I got to go out the way and travel to all these countries? And these countries, sometimes these women have their own culture. They have their own thinking. Some of them are slick. Some of them got their own game. Why I can't marry my own woman? Why the decent black American woman, African American woman, why finding one in the Muslim community is like a needle in the haystack? You're like a needle in the haystack. And then when I find that needle in that haystack, that one needle, there's like 20 or 30 other guys like me looking for that needle in the haystack. So I got to compete with them to find it. And she can only choose one. One guy. And you're my only option? Yeah, that would make me go crazy naturally. That would make me lose my mind. That would make me very unhappy and mad with sisters. But I digress because I don't agree with everything he said. But I understand exactly where that particular brother is coming from, even though I don't agree on his approach. And I don't have that approach on my page. I don't have that approach on my post. My own kind is my preference. Let's be real. I have to be real with myself. Even me, I haven't been married to a black American woman for over 20 years. I've been married to an Arab, but I make sure I'm at an Arab who look just like me, look black, look just like me. Make sure I have some black kids who look just like me. So that shows even I look for another woman, I'm looking for the woman outside who got black features or something at least. That's just me. But there's a lot of women out there in other societies, they love black men. I'm telling you, I traveled. I've been married to other people from other race, and their marriages last longer. Even for a broke Negro. Even for a broke Negro, the marriage of one of them women overseas will last longer. I've been married to a crazy Egyptian woman for 11 years. Alhamdulillah, I left to lock that woman. Can't take the culture, can't take the bad manners. 11 years. I know a lot of brothers marry black sisters is a done deal after 1 year to 2 years. 2 years is the top. 2 years is the top. Then there's some brothers, 10 years, all the kids, and the women, they start acting up. Then they got to get divorced, and he has to go to another country to find a decent wife. And then if you're a brother and you're married, you got a decent sister and she's black, you should say Alhamdulillah. You should make shujood to Allah and say Alhamdulillah. Because that's not easy in this country, especially due to the feminist system. There's some things that we need to really seriously talk about. See, your sisters might be talking all this mess on Facebook and disagree with me and all of this, but I talk to black men. I talk to black men. I have black men who are my friends. I have people who are my friends who are on a higher social status than myself, meaning that they got money to spend. They got options. I have a lot of associates who are black, just like me. They got options. They got good jobs. They're highly educated, or they own their own business. And if some of them tired. They're tired of black women behavior. Some of them, not all. Or some of them that have the black sister, they don't want to. They still have a love for their peoples, but they tired of some of the little nonsense that go on in the African American culture. So they get the second or the third wife from another nationality. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I'm always going to say the grass is not greener on the other side. But I have a lot of associates. The grass is greener on the other side. They doing good. They got a lot of children. They have successful marriages. Their wives don't give them no headaches. They're not mad with their wife all the time. Their blood pressure is not high. They don't have to threaten the wife with divorce, or the sister not asking for kula 20 times in a month. Oh, Philadelphia. And I'm not trying to knock all the sisters in Philly. There's some good sisters in Philly. There's some. There are some. But those good sisters, from the black sisters that are good, they don't stay single on the market because they are in a high demand. I say it again. They don't stay single on the market for a long time because they are in high demand in the black community. So if I see a sister, she's single for a long time and can't find a husband, that is a sign for me and should be a sign for her. Decent, good black sisters don't stay on the market as being single for a long time. And I'm talking about young sisters who are married to who have no children. Even some of them who got kids, one or two. If she's decent and lovely, she don't stay on the market for a long time. She don't stay single for a long time because that is something in high demand. So I got all you sisters in my comments talking about all this and that. I'm a doctor. I'm a nurse. I got my own business, but you're not married. That's something wrong because in the black community, black women are the preference for black men. I'm telling you right now, that's my preference. That's my preference. I'm black and I'm telling you that's my preference. I'm going to be blunt. That's my preference. That's what I like. I like the figure. I like the black skin color. I like the dark skin color. I like that. That stuff turned me on. But what turned me off is the manners. And that's what turned off a lot of brothers. It's the manners. Especially when you be behaving like niggas in the street. Especially when you acting like some nigga in the street. How niggas like Pookie and Ray Ray be acting. If you a nurse, you got your bachelor degree, you got your own business, you're making money, but you talk just like them niggas in the street, best believe ain't no black man in his right mind want this. No black man in his right mind want this. And that's why you usually get